Hey guys, it's your boy Marc Sanders back with another video. Today is October 21st, 2022, and I had to continue my streak. But this is a video that I did have in mind for quite a bit actually. A video I wanted to do, just because, I saw in one of these bucket list type videos where I very well will absolutely probably add to this list off screen, after this video is posted. But I did see in someone else's bucket list video that they did put, do a video. I mean, they probably didn't say that exactly, but they were like, make a video of your bucket list. Tell people what your bucket list is, and you know what? Maybe we'll find someone who can help us fulfill some things on our bucket list. Yeah, maybe I'll give you guys some ideas for your bucket list. Maybe you'll post your bucket list in the comments and tell me what ideas you got. And you know what I mean. And yeah, I got a pretty good bucket list, I reckon. Now, I'm not planning to die anytime soon. I do want to live a long, healthy, fulfilling life. And I have absolutely every intention of doing so. I want to live to 300. Alright? Let's go for it. 300 years old. But yes, my bucket list. I will talk about what's on my bucket list. Every single thing on here. And, yeah. So, first thing on my bucket list. Be ahead of my time. Now, this is something that I believe I'm already in the middle of doing, because I told some friends of mine, because you guys know how I make movies, right? How I use Microsoft Paint, Windows Movie Maker, and download sound effects and music, and use subtitles to do movies, you know what I mean? And so this is why I believe I'm already doing this. I've already got this in a way. I won't cross it off till I know for sure that, that this has happened. But I do believe that way of making homemade movies will one day be a thing. You know what I mean? And I would have done that long before anyone else. You know what I mean? So yeah, for that reason, I do believe I've already done this. We can't know for sure yet, though. But yeah. Next up on my bucket list is to meet Marilyn Manson. And in my notes, I wrote in brackets Chris. What does Chris mean? There's a ton of celebrities I would love to meet, honestly. But, we would be here forever if I were to write down every single celebrity I wanted to meet. But Marilyn Manson is on here specifically because I remember back in 2010, that was the year that I discovered Marilyn Manson, became a huge fan of his. And I told this guy at school named Chris that I want to meet Marilyn Manson. And he said that he says, you're not going to meet Marilyn Manson. So basically he was telling me I would never meet Marilyn Manson. And for that, that's why meeting Marilyn Manson is on this list, okay? Just like with Tyler, the Creator, when he brought up this old tweet that was sent his way from 2011, telling him he would never win a Grammy. And then I think in 2020, when he finally won a Grammy, he brought up that tweet again. I have no doubt that inspired me to do this and put this on my bucket list. Alright, so yes, I do believe I'll meet Marilyn Manson. And I will put that, and I will absolutely mention Chris to him. Love Marilyn Manson, and yeah. Next up on my bucket list is to meet Christopher Nolan. You guys know me, Christopher Nolan's my favorite director of all time. What more do I have to say? Next on my bucket list is to marry a Taurus woman. I really am attracted so much to Taurus females, man. But, if I get married, regardless of what my wife's, sign ends up being, I'll probably cross this off anyway, regardless of what her sign actually is. But man, I want that to be a Taurus. You know. Next up, one that I'm in the middle of grinding for, lose all the weight that I want. Yes, I've been fat since 2005. All right, when I was a kid, and I've struggled to lose it, but I think I've got it now. You know, fasting and all that. I don't want to talk too much about this now, but I am grinding on this. And this is one, I believe, not too far away, in the not too distant future, I'll be able to cross this off my list. Next up, visit the Egyptian pyramids. I've always been a big fan of Egypt. Such a fascinating, beautiful place. So visiting the pyramids, absolutely. Next up, grow a full beard. This is another one I'm in the middle of. I don't know what it is, but I just don't seem to be able to grow facial hair on my cheeks, you know. But I do want to grow a full beard, and hopefully, if I just keep my beard on, because I have a tendency to like shave a lot, like after each shower. But for this, I'm gonna keep it, hopefully until I grow the beard that I want, and cross this off, because I do love the idea of having a beard, you know. Next up, have a white Christmas. Yep, I live in New Zealand. It doesn't exactly really snow over here, but having a white Christmas, always been a dream of mine. That would just be the most beautiful thing. Next up, have 1,000 subscribers on my main channel. On my other channel, Marc S, I do have 1,000-something hundred subscribers. I wish all the videos on that channel that got tons and tons of views, I uploaded to this channel, because I would have already done this long ago. Next up, stay in an underwater hotel. Next up, eat only fruit and drink only water for 6 months. This is something that I'm planning to do for 2023. So for the first 6 months of 2023, I hope I'll be able to stick with this and do this. Next up, go to therapy. I always love the idea of going to therapy. Not as much now as opposed to like long before, because I've really like taken control of my happiness, because I am happy. Honestly, I am happy. So this isn't. I don't want this as much as before, you know. But go to therapy. That's something I want to do. Next up, be the first person to get a PlayStation trophy. I reckon I would have to pre-order a game for this, install that as fast as possible. Maybe even the deluxe edition of whatever game that is, probably like WWE 2K23 or something like that. And then Game Warrior 0925 will be #1 forever on the leaderboards on PSN profiles. Yeah. Next up, receive a public award. What an honor. Next up, get Ultimate Spider-Man. This is a video game, Ultimate Spider-Man. Specifically, I want to get Ultimate Spider-Man, that game, from my grandfather. Because back in like 2005, I knew about the Ultimate Spider-Man game, and I told my grandpa that I wanted him to get me the Ultimate Spider-Man video game. And I didn't realize it then, but as a kid, as an adult now, I do now realize that he probably didn't even know what I was talking about. And I remember like waiting for hours, and when my grandfather finally got home from work or whatever, he didn't have the Ultimate Spider-Man game. I didn't mention it to him. I felt so embarrassed. I did mention it to him now, recently, when they were here on my birthday. Not much of that really happened though. Next up, go to a dam. I always love the idea of just chilling out at a dam. That sounds really nice. Next up, visit an abandoned building. That would just be so cool. Next up, be a guest on a major podcast. I love that idea. I love the idea of like someone like Joe Rogan or something making like a post like, next up, I'm interviewing Marc Sanders and something like that. I love that. Next up, become a wrestler. Now this is my dream job, obviously, along with being an actor. But becoming a wrestler, I think that's inevitable with how long I've talked about wanting to wrestle. And yeah, even my mom reckons that's inevitable when I mentioned it to her. Next up, show a woman my bedroom. I love my room. Here, I'm literally recording this video in my room as we speak. This room is my haven, and I would love to show a woman my bedroom one day. Next up, try pink pineapple. This is, I saw this in a Sniperwolf video. Like one of those TikTok videos or whatever. And there was like a pink pineapple. That's it. That's it. Next up, meet a fan. Yes, I love the idea of, being out one day and someone being like, oh, wait, are you Marc Sanders? And I'll be like, yes, I am. I do fantasize about this more often than I would admit. But meeting a fan, absolutely is something I want to do one day. And, yeah. And when I say this, I mean that, like meet a fan that I never knew about prior. So, I'm not counting, like, meeting, internet friends in person as this, You know what I mean, I hope. Next up, visit a desert. Yes, I would love to visit a desert. Hopefully survive, too. I have every intention of surviving that. Next up, stay at a snowy cabin. I always loved that idea. Next up, see a classic movie in theaters. When I say this, I do mean seeing a classic movie that I've never seen prior. You know what I mean? Like, I have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in mind. I want to watch that movie. I would love for that. I would love to see that movie for the first time in cinemas. So yeah, see a classic movie in theaters. Next up, watch every movie in my collection. I have so many friggin' DVDs, Blu-rays. When I was a kid, I used to just watch all my DVDs like water, like nothing. But as an adult, I'm happy to have DVDs, but I can't help but just let them sit there, for a while. So, watching every single DVD, Blu-ray, and YouTube movies in my collection, that's something I want to do. Next up, go to space. I don't talk about my love for outer space enough on this channel. I am a massive, lifelong, massive outer space fan. And you know what? Yeah, I would love to go to space. I've had tons and tons of dreams about going to space. And yeah. Next up, I don't have too many stuff on this list like this. Interact with a P-star. Yep, that's on my list. Preferably one, and no, actually not preferably. I will only cross this off if it is a P-star that I have jacked it to. I want them to know, even if it's just an online conversation on Twitter or something like that, I want I want a P-star to know that I have fapped off to them. Yep. I want confirmation that they received their message as well. You know what I mean? Next up, hug Sniperwolf. I fantasize about it a lot. I don't need to be with her. I would just want to meet Sniperwolf and hug her. Alright. Next up, buy my mother's dream house. There's this movie starring Jet Li called Fearless. And he had, he doesn't live in this place until, the second half of the movie, when he's all sad and all that. But, he stays at, this, farm or something like that, and it's like a little house on, a hill, and, a rice making hill, something. And if you've seen that movie, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But ever since I watched that movie with my mum, she said that's her dream house, and I actually did promise her that I would get her this dream house. That was back in 2013, and I have not forgotten. What's weird is I really wanted these 2 Blu-rays, and I literally said, Mom, I promise you your dream house if you get me these 2 Blu-rays. She cracked up laughing and agreed. And you know what? Even though I hardly ever watch those 2 Blu-rays now, and by the way, those Blu-rays were The Wrestler and Shameless Season 1. I'm keeping that promise. I've not forgotten, okay? But next up, perform in a rock band. It can be as a singer, probably. Maybe a simple thing. And I want my presence known. Yep, perform in a rock band. Even if it's just a one-time thing. That's something that's on my bucket list. Next up, at least sleep over in a mansion. Of course, I would love to own my own mansion. But I would, at the very least in my life, like to sleep over at a mansion. That would just be epic. That would be incredible. Next up, spend my birthday with my best friend Bishop. Yeah, this is something that I have been begging my grandma for years. It's hard to do because me and Bishop, my best friend, live in different cities and all that. But this is something I've wanted every single year since 2016. And we still have not managed to do this. It's crazy. But, eventually, this will happen. Eventually, this will happen. No question about that. Anyway, next up, visit the Roman Collisseum in Italy. Yeah. I love ancient Roman stuff, so I would love to visit that place, the Roman Colosseum, even though half of it was missing. Next up, go to Greece. Again, I love ancient Roman Greek stuff, but Greece in general just looks like a beautiful, gorgeous country. Next up, donate to Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish, I am a Make-A-Wish kid, and one day I want to give back to Make-A-Wish. In fact, I actually have this fantasy, which is a story for another day, where, I love the idea of, a Make-A-Wish kid wanting to meet me. And honestly, if a Make-A-Wish kid wanted to meet me, I would do anything and everything for him/her. I would. Next up, walk the red carpet. Yeah, just incredible. Incredible. I can't help but imagine, Mark, posts online, Mark Sanders arrives at the red carpet and stuff like that. Walk the red carpet, yeah. Next up, spend more time with Hades. I'm not talking about James Woods. I'm not talking about the actual god Hades. Hades is my uncle's dog. And he's my boy. And I love him. And I want to spend more time with him. I feel like, depending on how much time I spend with him and all that, I will, know when I could cross this off. Anyway, next up, take my mother to see Remember the Titans in theaters. Now, the context behind this one is, Remember the Titans, that movie with Denzel Washington, is, according to my mum, the first movie I ever saw in theaters. And I was crying in the theater, and she had to leave. And even though I don't remember this at all, I want to give back to my mum. I want to take her to see this in theaters. And, like, I'm sorry that I mean, she's seen the movie, like, a bunch of times, you know. But, like, I want to give her that theater experience that I, not knowing any better, denied her as a kid. Denied her as a baby, you know. And the last two things, roam around an empty stadium, and I put sun and moon emojis because the first one is to roam around an empty stadium during the day. The second one, roam around an empty stadium during the night. So yeah, that's my bucket list so far. I think this turned out good. Did you enjoy my list? And what's your list? Tell me what you think of my list. Tell me some stuff you got on your list. And let's have some fun. And hopefully we'll all cross all the stuff off our list one day. And yeah. This was fun. Like I had a lot more fun like writing and thinking about my list than how I talked about it in this, I'll admit. But yeah. I'm your boy Marc. Dream big, y'all.